In this video, you guys are going to be learning what the criteria of a perfect Amazon FBA product and what it looks like. So basically, I'm going to jump onto one of my favorite Amazon FBA tools, and I'm going to be showing you guys the different filters and what these filters mean and what they have to be set to. So when you set these filters, it will help you find the exact product that you want to be looking for and the products that I highly recommend that you guys start selling with, because some products are good to start and some are bad to start. So I want to show you guys exactly how to find the good ones. So now let's not waste any more time. Let's jump on the tool and let's get started. Okay, so here we are on the AMZ Scout web app, and specifically we are going to be on the product database section of the web app. And if you guys don't know what that is, basically this is where we're going to help find our best ideas for products that we should be starting. This is where it's going to filter down what we're looking for in a product, and it's going to show us some products that fit those filters, and then we can dive in further and use the AMZ Scout Chrome extension to check and make sure that that product is actually going to sell well. So with these two tools, we're going to be able to filter down to the exact product that we want to be starting that will get us to success as fast as possible. Now, if you guys don't have these tools yet, I will have it linked down below in the description under tools I use. It will say AMZ Scout. You guys can go ahead and click that, and then you guys can follow along with me, but I suggest you watch this video all the way through first, and then you can jump on it again and follow along with the tools that you just got. And if you already have the tools, then here we go. Let's jump in right away. So if you guys are on the product database, you probably recognize this page. These are the basic filters that we're going to be looking at, and we want to really dial in on these filters and take advantage of these filters. That way we can find the exact products that we are looking for. So I'm going to be talking all about the criteria and what you should be searching for in this video. Now, the thing that you need to know is some categories are called gated, and that's what Amazon calls it, and that means it requires special approval for you to sell in that category. For example, some types of baby products or beauty products, or even anything related to topicals, which is like kind of lotions or anything that goes on your skin or your body or anything that you ingest, those things might be gated categories, and Amazon requires you to get special approval to sell in those categories. And that is for obviously safety reasons, to make sure that you should be selling in that category and you have the proper vetting to make sure that you are able to sell in that category without harming anyone with a bad baby product or a bad health product. For the most part, all the ones I have here are not gated, and these are the ones that you should be starting with, but feel free to play around with all these things I'm talking about. It doesn't need to be exactly what I'm talking about, just keep it in that generalized area. So these are all the categories I would recommend starting with. And also, another side note, remember that some products are restricted or banned, so you want to make sure that your product that you want to sell is not restricted or banned or gated requiring special approval. And I'll even go a step further for you guys, and I'll leave a link down below to an Amazon website where it shows you some of the banned and restricted products. That way you guys can get a good idea of what would be banned or restricted. Now, one more thing before we continue the video. If you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you guys do so already. We're at 10,200 subscribers, and thank you for all of you who did subscribe to the channel, and welcome to our channel. We give out more Amazon FBA information than any other channel here on YouTube. And also, if you guys want even more information and you want me to personally guide you one-on-one all the way through the Amazon process from start to finish, then I will have the link down below. It's going to be the first link in the video description to my course and mentorship, and that's where you're going to learn everything that you need to know from start to finish of being successful on Amazon. And if you have any questions for that, I have my email right here. It's askrileyturner@gmail.com, right there above my head. Now that's it. Let's get back into the video. Okay, now we got our categories down. The next thing we're going to go to is right here, and that is going to be price. So we're going to set a price where it goes from a certain price to a certain price, and we want it anywhere in between those price ranges. So the first part is we want a price that's not going to be too low, because if it's too low, then it's going to be hard to make a profit on. Or if it's too low, our profit margins will be pretty small. So if we're selling a product that's $5, we might make $1, maybe $2 profit on it, and that means it's going to take a lot more sales to get some more profit for us. So we want to have bigger profit margins. That way we don't have to sell so many products to make a lot of money. So the bigger the profit margin, the less you have to sell to be successful. So what I recommend, the bare minimum, is I recommend about $13. You can go a little bit lower to around $9 to $10, but I personally like to stay with products that are only $13 and above. But there is also a limit to what we want to sell. We don't want to sell something that is too expensive, because I know a lot of you guys have budgets out there and you guys can't spend too much money on a product, because if that product let's say you sell it for $500, most likely you might have to purchase that product on Alibaba or source that product from China for at least $50 to $100. So that means it's going to require a lot more capital, starting costs, so a lot more money out of your pocket to start that product. So I recommend for all of you beginners out there, if you're on a bigger budget, feel free to hit this maximum that I'm about to talk about. And if you're on a smaller budget, feel free to go all the way down to that $13 range. That way you can purchase more products to start. So the bare minimum, like I said, we're going to start with $13. You can even do $12.99, anything like that, because sometimes that gets you an edge. Because remember this, some other sellers that are getting started might be using parameters similar to this. So you can also do about $12.99 or $12.98 or anything like that. That way you might be getting products that they aren't seeing. They might be having the $13 price range on, and there might be some good products that are $12.99, $12.98 that they're not going to find. And if you set this to $12.99 or $12.98, then you're going to find even more products that they weren't able to find using that $13 price range. So that's just a pro tip. Don't get too confused, but it's always nice to add some pennies and drop down a couple pennies into a different range. That way you're seeing more products that most people aren't seeing because they don't know about that. So then the maximum we're going to do, some of you can afford this, some of you can't. I would say about $50, but once again, you can do $50.99 or $51. You want to think a little bit more outside the box. You don't want to do what everyone else is doing, because then you're going to find the same products that they're finding. So we can just go ahead and do $51 and see what that comes up with. So that's the price range I recommend. If you're on a smaller budget, once again, try to reach more of that $12.99, $13 level. And if you have a bigger budget, feel free to go all the way up to the $50, even higher if your budget is very big. That's everything you need to know about the price range. And remember, usually the higher price the product is, the more profit you're going to make and the less you're going to need to sell of that product to make some good money. So the next thing is going to be the reviews. So this is going to be the star rating, how many reviews it has for that product that we want to find. So we want to find products that have a low competition, and a low competition means a smaller amount of reviews. The more reviews a product has, the harder it will be to compete with that person or that industry. If that industry has a ton of reviews, all the listings have a ton of reviews, then it's going to be harder to jump into that industry. So for example, if you want to start selling iPhone cases or phone cases, most likely all the top sellers are going to have a ton of reviews. So you as a new seller are most likely not going to be able to outperform them because they are already so far ahead of the competition. So what we want to do is we want to filter it to the products that we can still jump into, the ones that haven't been too dominated yet. So we're going to have a range of from to 2, just like the price range. So from, we can do 0, because if it has 0 reviews, that's even better for us. The lower, the better. So if all the top sellers have 5 reviews, that's great. But we don't want all the top sellers to have 1,000 reviews, because then it's hard to jump into that product. Now we can go all the way up to either 50 to about 70 reviews. And once again, you want to change these numbers up a little bit because some other sellers are searching for these same exact parameters, and then we want to change it a little bit so we're seeing products that they aren't seeing. So most people would do 50, maybe 70. So we want to do something like maybe 71 or 75 or 55 or 51, anything like that. We want to do something just a little bit ahead of what everyone else is searching. That way we can potentially see some other products that most people haven't seen yet. And in return, that would mean that they are going to be less saturated with new sellers. And surprisingly enough, a lot of new sellers don't do this, which will give you a huge edge on all those new sellers. Now, the next thing we want to go to is going to be the estimated sales, and this is going to be on a monthly basis. So we want to have anything from about 300 sales and up. So we don't want to have a limit on it. But a lot of sellers don't know that there might be a bad thing about having too many sales if you are a new seller or if you're on a budget, because we want to do something called giveaways. And when we do giveaways, when we start a product and we do our first giveaways, we have to match the top sellers' sales with our giveaways to increase our rank up there with theirs, so we can get our listing onto the first page of Amazon. And that way we get more organic sales without paying for PPC or advertisement. And if you're a brand new seller, I understand this might be a lot to take in. All these words that I'm using, you might get confused on, but that is exactly what my course and mentorship is for. We go over all of this in depth, everything you can think of from start to finish. So make sure you guys go down below and check out that first link in the description. So just like the price and reviews, we want to change it up a little bit so we're not doing what everyone else is doing. So you can do anything between 249 sales or maybe 299, 298, 290, anything that's different from what most people are searching. And I'm telling you that most people are searching about 250 or 300. So it's nice to do a little bit below what most people are searching. If you're okay with just making a little bit a month, maybe a couple thousand a month on Amazon, then you can do as low as 100 sales, and that's fine. But if you want to reach more of the $10,000 a month range, then you might want to do about 300, 350 and up. So that is all depending on what your strategy is and what your goals are. So like I said, there is such thing as having too many sales. And the reason for that is going to be for the giveaways. So if you guys have a smaller budget, then I would recommend putting a limit to the sales. I might do anything below 1,000 or maybe below 800 or even below 500, 300 to 500, maybe 100 to 500. So this is all depending on your guys' budget or what your goals are or what you want to do. And that's also something that's good about my mentorship, because I could work with you directly and help you set your goals and help you set these parameters based off of what your goals are. But if you guys have a large budget, then go ahead and feel free to leave this blank, because you're going to be able to give away as many products as you want because you have a large budget. And once again, if you have a smaller budget, then make sure you keep this below, maybe anything below about 800 to 500 is fine as a max. So we're going to go ahead and set it as 800 because I know most of you guys are on a budget, and that is a good price range. We could even do the 249 or 248, and we can do that up to maybe 798. That way we're changing it up a little bit and finding more products that other people aren't seeing. Now after that, we're going to go to the seller type. Now a lot of people don't adjust this as well, but this is also very important because we do not want to see Amazon sellers. So we're going to go ahead and just click on FBA and merchant sellers. And the reason for that is because Amazon sellers, which is Amazon selling the products themselves, we don't want to compete with them because they are really good at what they do. It's Amazon selling on their own Amazon website, so it's very hard to compete with Amazon sellers. And if you guys have the Chrome extension, you can see it on the right-hand side. It will say the seller type, and it will say AMZ. That means it's an Amazon seller, and you want to stay away from that. And then the reason we want FBA sellers is because that is what we do. We are going to be FBA sellers. I'm an FBA seller, and that is what I teach, and I hope all of you guys will do that as well, because it is definitely the best way to sell on Amazon. And then after that, we have merchant, and merchant sellers are people who actually ship out the products themselves. And that is going to be MCH. If you guys are on the AMZ Scout Chrome extension, on the right-hand side, it will say MCH. And then we're going to go over to product tier. I highly recommend that you guys do standard size products. Oversized means it's going to be a lot more in shipping costs. It's going to be a lot more to hold your product in the Amazon FBA warehouse. So I recommend standard, especially if you guys are on a budget, and then hit apply after that. And remember, if you guys aren't on a budget and you guys want to change your strategy to maybe sell items that are a lot higher priced and a lot bigger items, then you can go ahead and do oversized. That's totally fine as well. But I'm talking to most of you out there who are on a budget and that are new sellers. Now we want to go to weight. We want to do anything as light as a feather, so 0 pounds all the way up to you can do anything between about 1 or 2 pounds, but once again, try to change it up a little bit. As a side tip, most people are searching for 1 pound, 1.5 pounds, or 2 pounds, so make sure you try to change it up a little bit. Maybe do 1.1 if you wanted to search for the 1 pound, or do 1.6 if you're going to do the 1.5 pounds. So just be a little bit ahead of everyone else to get more results. If you're not on a budget, feel free to make this 100 pounds if that's what you want to do. So I'm just going to go ahead and do 2.1. Now I'm going to leave it as optional for you guys to set the estimated revenue. So if you're trying to hit a specific revenue price range, if you want to make $10,000 a month and you're set on it, or you want to make between $5,000 and $7,000 a month, or $20,000 to $100,000 a month, then you guys can feel free to set that revenue, and it will help you filter it down to products that are meeting that criteria even more. But for all of you beginners, I would recommend just leave it blank because for your first product, it's okay and it's awesome to make $3,000 a month on your first product or up to $10,000. I would not get picky about it because remember, we're going to be trying to start multiple products. So if you have 10 products and they're all doing $2,000 to $5,000 a month, you are going to be very, very successful. And that is a very good strategy that I would recommend to all of you. Start one product at a time and keep trying new ones and build your portfolio and get as many successful products as you can selling actively. Now the next one is also kind of optional, and this one's going to be rating, and this is something that a lot of sellers, a lot of teachers don't talk about. And the reason I do this is because it helps you get that edge that no one else is getting, and it is definitely a very good edge to have. So we want to have a rating, and a rating is basically the star rating that you see. So they might have 3 out of 5 stars, 4 out of 5 stars, 5 out of 5 stars. I would recommend filtering this anything 4 stars and below, maybe 3.5 stars below. The reason for that is we want to find products that have potential for us to start into. So if we are finding products that all have 5 stars and they're all doing really well, it's going to be even harder for us to compete with them because they have such a good rating that most likely they have a good rating, they have a good product, and they're not going to be going anywhere, or they're going to be harder to compete with because we're going to need to have just as good of a product to beat them out. And if you find products that are 4 stars and below, that means that they may not have a very good product, and that gives us a higher chance of beating them with our product being better than theirs. So let's say we have it 3.5 stars and below, and we find a bunch of products that have that, meeting all these other requirements that we just typed in. That means that that product is doing really well, but they don't really deserve to be on Amazon because the buyers of that product have rated it poorly, so it's not a very good product. So they are still selling very well, making a lot of money, but they don't have a very good product. That's where we come into play, and it tells us that that product or that market may have some openings available for us to jump in and beat out those sellers with an even better and higher quality product. But if everyone has a 5-star, then it's going to be harder to beat them because the people who are buying those products already like it. They already gave it a 5-star. Especially if they have a lot of reviews, then you know it's going to be legitimate reviews. They're real reviews. If it's like 30 or 40 reviews and below and it's all 5 stars, those might be paid reviews, meaning they're fake reviews, and then I wouldn't worry about it so much. But if it's 40 or 50 reviews and up and they're all 5 stars, then that might be a good sign that they are actually getting good reviews and it's actually a very good product. Also, side note, you guys can go on to the reviews and look into it further by reading what the people are saying about the review, and that's how you can find ways to make yours better. So if they're selling an iPhone case and everyone's saying it's flimsy, it breaks easy, it doesn't protect the iPhone, but they're selling really well, then find a product that looks like that, maybe it has the same design, same color, and make it less flimsy, make it more protective, and make it more of what the buyer wants, and then you guys can take their place and do really well yourself. So let's go ahead and set that to 4. Now that is going to be all the different filters that I recommend if you are a new seller. If you guys want to dive in even deeper, then you guys can start messing with things like the listing quality, the first available date, the number of sellers, the estimated revenue, even the rank, keywords, things like that. But don't get overwhelmed right away. Stick with these basics right here that I just showed you, and you guys will be on your way to having your first successful product, and especially without being overwhelmed. And that is the number one important thing. Now, once again, if you guys want to get into my course and mentorship, the link is going to be the first link down below. And also the link to this tool right here is going to be down below to the AMZ Scout website. I think they're having a pretty good deal right now, so I'll have that link to that deal down below where you can get this web app and the Chrome extension and some other tools. It's like a whole bundle package, so that's a really good deal too. And if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys go down below, click on the like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to get notified every time we upload a new video. Last but not least, go down below, leave me a comment, let me know what you thought, let me know if you subscribed, and let me know if you have any questions about any of these topics because I know it can be confusing. That is going to be it, guys. I will see you guys in the next video, or I will see you if you get into my course and mentorship, and then we'll get working together right away. That's it. Catch you guys in the next video.